Yes, we do need cholesterol. You're going to hear some controversy about it. We do need omega-3s. What we know is cholesterol, which is the hormone, mother of all hormones, is that if you're at the 25% percentile, you're going to have double the amount of suicide. If you're at the lowest percentile, you're going to have 6 times more suicide because you need the cholesterol to make the hormones, to make the neurotransmitters.
Repeat that again so they understand it. That's very important.
Okay. Thank you. We're buds, you know. He's going to help out. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of fear about cholesterol, which is, as far as I'm concerned, not too accurate. And I'm saying the research shows that if your cholesterol is in the lower 25 percentile out of 100, you will have double the amount of suicides and depression. If you're at the lowest amount, you're going to have 6 times, get what I just said, 6 times more suicide and depression because you're really not making the hormones because you're cholesterol deficient. I actually learned that partly at Columbia Medical School, where we understood that low cholesterol was associated with mental disease. Now, I'm also going to say this is true with the omega-3s. If you're in the lowest percentiles with that, you will have very similar, more depression and more suicide. And the research is out there. So I'm very concerned about people going low on cholesterol, which to me is less than 160. I'm not going to get into the whole cholesterol issue. I'm trying to make a point. We need the long-chain fatty acids, and we need the cholesterol. Now, those are key. Now, there are other supplements, and this work has been done again since the 70s that play a big role in treating psychosis. You get about a 50% success rate with that. And that's B3, B6, B12, and magnesium. They balance and enhance neurotransmitter production. And that's really the beginning of orthomolecular psychiatry, because they got such good results with just doing that. We can do better, because I already told you, we're adding the omega-3s, we're adding phosphatidylserine, and so these are things that make a difference. Now, other things, magnesium is very important. It's involved in over 300 enzymes and metabolic function in the brain alone. So we need the magnesium. People are magnesium deficient. Lots of problems. I'm talking about the brain here, primarily. So those are your big players, and being deficient in any of those can lead to a lot of mental disorders. You know, you've heard of pellagra and so forth, but I'm talking about psychosis and I'm talking about anxiety. So those are, I'm going to say, are your bigger players. I think zinc is important, potassium is important. When we look at blood sugar problems, including diabetes, we're again looking at depression, we're looking at Alzheimer's disease, double the amount of Alzheimer's with diabetes. So we need to improve the blood sugar. There's lots of things for that, but having that awareness. So those are some of the players that are very important for mental health. One of the things that concerns me is kids as early as 3 years old being put on, anti-hyperactivity things, and that Ritalin has lots of problems, but actually it's like a long-acting cocaine. So when we see the progression, got to understand the word progression here, then the kids are in their teens and they're moving towards cocaine because the Ritalin is not working, but you're having again, as Stephen Hyman says, a perturbation in brain function, a breakdown in brain function. And the longer these kids are on the drugs, the more breakdown in that process. So in the rebuilding of the brain, so one of my subspecialties is slowly taking people off these medications. The brain has downgraded itself. in a variety of ways, which I don't need to give you the details, but slowly you have to withdraw. It can take up to 4 months to withdraw. But at the same time, I'm adding these supplements plus in a holistic health point of view, because that's, we have to rebalance all the endocrine system and the neurological system and the neurotransmitters. All are thrown out of balance. So we have to look at all the pictures. And I'm just going to review that again. So,
Dr. Cousens, let's move on. Let's
okay.
take chances. Go.
Okay, so I'll come back the next round and talk about on the physical things, but this is kind of an overview for an aspect of mental health. Obviously, emotional mental health is very important, and from a spiritual point of view, the personality is a case of mistaken identity.
Yes.
Think about that for a second.
Let's move on right now.
So we go beyond the mind. So those are your perspectives.
I would just like to add that from the research that I've done, every single mass shooter has been on the psychotropic drugs.
Absolutely. Because it seriously upgrades not only suicidal but homicidal activities. Jonathan Coles, who I study with, actually went to the FDA and said this. They didn't listen. The rate is 3 times to 4 times higher rate of suicide and homicide with the psychotropics. Pretty intense. Okay.